Hi you guys, I am back to share another foundation page process video for my December Daily 2021 album. This time I'm doing more of a blue, silver, snowflakey sort of theme, and it's going to be another outside of the page protector one. So I'm just measuring my page protector to get an idea of how big I want to make it, and then I'm going to get started with all of the cutting of the papers. But I also celebrate Hanukkah in my family. And so I like doing a lot of like blue themed spreads or like more neutral themed spreads so that I can tell those Hanukkah stories. And even if this doesn't end up being a Hanukkah story on this exact page, I like having blue sprinkled throughout my album so it doesn't seem so jarring when I have Hanukkah spreads. So what I'm doing is taking this blue snowflakey sort of pattern, folding it in half to create basically a pocket, and then I'm going to end up cutting diagonally across it so it's not a full pocket. It's like a 2/4 or a 3/4 pocket. You'll see it. That was a terrible explanation, but that's why I'm folding it in half. I'm going to adhere it together on the one side, and then I will cut it in half. You see I'm doing with my finger what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to cut. So yeah, it's ends up being pretty simple. It maybe sounded complicated the way I just terribly explained it, but I end up really liking this page. It turns out really cute. Um, but yeah, so I am looking forward to December Daily. I literally cannot wait for it to be December. I already have a couple of photos ready to go for the album because we already decorated our Christmas tree and I'm documenting a story about that. And I also have a photo of my dog asleep in front of the tree that I'm going to be documenting. And one other. Oh, well, there was us decorating the tree, the finished tree, and then there's also my mom decorates our whole house in like the gnome, in like a theme of gnomes. She loves gnomes. So I'm going to do like a gnome themed page to like document her decorations. But back to what I'm actually doing. I'm lining up the center spine of that fold and I'm going to trim down to the highest point of where the pocket will be. And I've marked it with my pencil. And I'm just using my paper trimmer. And there's my head. Getting real up close and personal. And then I'm going to cut diagonally across. Well, I might just cut straight across right now. But I'm going to cut diagonally across after that to create the kind of, I wanted um, a diagonal cut for the pocket. I didn't want it to be a horizontal line. I wanted it to have like an angle to it. So you'll see in a second here. So you can see it's like a little bit more than, it's maybe like a 2/3 pocket. And then I'm just cutting with my scissors. You can kind of see across. And so that way I get this cute little angled pocket look that I really like. So that turned out really well, and I pretty much freehanded it. You know, I didn't have a guide or anything. I just sort of eyeballed it, but it ended up turning out pretty good. So I'm proud of myself. And then I'm using some score tape. I have always used red line tape, but I find it so difficult to use because you have to trim it, and then I can never get the little backing paper off. So I've been seeing some people using score tape, and I got some of that, and I'm loving it. So this is actually just like from Michael's craft store because I didn't want to have to wait to ship it. But I'm just adhering those two sides down now with the score tape to make it nice and strong. And then I decided I don't like the white background of the back paper because it's not a double-sided paper. So I'm using this really pretty metallic star vellum. And this is honestly a bit of a struggle, but I end up taping it into the background so it kind of looks like it's not plain paper. Before that, I'm adding my holes. So I just use a regular hole punch and I just line it up with a page protector and punch the holes out like that. It's a really simple way. And the book I'm using only has 2 holes in it. It's not like a 6-hole ring binder, so it's pretty easy just to do the 2 holes. And then I'm like trying to figure out the easiest way to do this, and I don't know if there was an easier way, but the way I did it was not easy. So maybe if I would have just made it the full size and stuck it in the pocket and then just only adhered it at the top, but I trim it down and then I mess with it a bunch, and you'll see that in a second here. So I'm trimming it just a little bit longer than it needs to be, so that way it can tuck in and look kind of seamless in the pocket. And the struggle will just begin here. I'm going to tape it down so it can adhere inside the pocket, but then I just have to fuss with it a ton to try and get it in there. And I honestly think I end up pulling the pocket open, which I should have done this before I glued the pocket down, but I didn't know I was going to do it until after. So I'm trying to slide it in while it has tape on it and it's sticking. So, we'll just watch me struggle a little bit. And I ended up cutting out about 30 more seconds of struggle before I got it adhered, but I did eventually get it. I think it's right about here. I have the pocket opened up right now, I think. And then I re-stick it back down. So then I'll punch a hole in the vellum and it's super cute. Totally worth all of the struggle, I think. And I like this too because this page is double-sided now. It has the blue pattern paper on the back side of it as well, so it's kind of already a head start for the next side. And I actually end up decorating, I think I show you in this video, I decorate the next side of it as well a little bit. But I'm using a little bit of white rickrack to line the edge of the pocket. It sort of just looks a little raw and rough, so I wanted to have a more finished edge, so I'm using just some 1/8 inch red line tape because I already had 1/8 inch, so I didn't buy 1/8 inch score tape, I just bought 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, I think 1/4 inch. So I'm using this because it's skinnier and the rickrack is pretty skinny. And I think it adds just a really nice touch. Just makes it look a little more clean, crisp finish. It also adds a dimensional and textural element. So we love a little bit of fabric on the page. And I'm just trimming some edges, it looks like. And now I'm pulling aside a couple of embellishments. I have the painted wood veneer pack from Allie Edwards' December Daily launch this year, and a few little clips from Felicity Jane, my Tim Holtz tokens that I've been trying desperately to add to a spread. But I think part of it is me halfway hoarding them, and the other part of it is they have phrases on them, and I want to make sure the phrase goes with whatever photo is involved with this page. So I have a little bit of a hard time adding words to the foundation pages so far. So, it'll be fine. I have a lot of those tokens and I will definitely be using them once the stories actually start being created, I guess. So I'm pulling out these glittery wood veneer stickers I got from World Market last year that I love. I think they're for decorating holiday packages, but I use them in my scrapbook as you do. And I'm thinking of whether I want to use the silver glitter or white glitter star. I ultimately think I use the white one. I think the silver was more of a pop, but I didn't want it to be too crazy, and so I went with the white to go with all of the white in the spread. And then I'm pulling out canvas word strips, which oddly are easy for me to use. I have used those a bunch of times in foundation pages, whereas the tokens I haven't used, which is kind of funny because they're both phrases. But maybe it's because the canvas strips are a little more generic, or I think the other thing I'm struggling with tokens is I don't really know the best way to attach them. I want to sew them on with embroidery floss or something, but I just haven't figured it out yet. So, it's a struggle, but we'll survive, we'll manage. So I'm doing a little bit of an embellishment cluster on the center of the pocket part with the phrase sticker and that snowflake, and then I think I use, some of this little baker's twine. It's the perfect shade of blue. So I have that, and I will tie up a cute little bow and adhere that to the cluster of embellishments. I think it ends up being super cute. So I will get that glued down, and then I'm also considering doing a different cluster up top, but I wanted to use that little gift package wood veneer. That's my favorite wood veneer from the collection for sure. I definitely want to use it this year, but I haven't found the right place. And I just think the shade of blue was a little bit off, and it was also just a little big for where I was trying to put it. So it doesn't end up on this spread, but it will hopefully end up somewhere in the book. And whenever I can't make a decision, what do? I work on something else. So the top cluster was giving me a little bit of trouble, so I just start gluing everything down in the bottom cluster because I had that one figured out. So I did that. I think the top cluster stays the same besides the wood veneer. I keep a little happy holidays phrase and that little star clip that is so adorable. So I'm using some liquid glue to do the little bow, just because I wanted to make sure it stuck down really well. And I end up trimming it a little bit so that the string is not in the way of the phrase. And then I'm messing around with the snowflake or star clip to get that so it looks kind of like it's holding the phrase sticker down. And, you know, optical illusions of scrapbooking, making things look like they're doing things that they're not. Which is kind of funny because the clip is serving a purpose, but it's really not because I taped the word phrase down. But yeah, so this page is coming along real nice, and I'm still trying to attach one of those tokens, but it's just not going to happen. So here I am finally giving up, putting them all away. So this side is now pretty much done, and I'm flipping it over to the back side because I decided I wanted to work on that a little bit. So I'm using more of this little star vellum I had cut out, and I'm going to make a mini pocket on the back because I love a pocket. I'm just going a little pocket crazy over here. But I'm just deciding how big I want it to be, using my trusty dusty ruler to get an idea. And I think I end up making this pocket way too small. I was thinking of putting a photo in it, I think, originally, but I measured it to the size of the photo instead of bigger than the photo, I believe. Something like that happens. So it's going to end up being like a little tag photo pocket or something like that because a regular photo is not going to fit in here. And you know what the best part is? You guys can't see any of this because it's all out of the frame. So, you know, you'll just have to trust me in what I'm doing. Right now I'm folding the little edges over of the pocket, I believe. Or maybe I didn't fold the edges and I'm just score taping it down. I honestly don't remember. We will hopefully see soon. But I'm definitely messing with some score tape right now. Let's see. I think I didn't fold it down because that score tape is too thick for that. I think I'm using, yeah, I didn't fold the edges. Sometimes I fold the edges of a pocket to make it have a little bit more like dimension so it could kind of fit something thicker in it. But I think because this was so small, I didn't. So you can see I'm checking it. I'm like, ooh, that's a real tight pocket. But it turns out cute. And I was gonna staple something, but I don't think I can because it's already here down. So we're doing a lot of wishing we did things differently in this one. And then I think I add some more of that rickrack. I do. I'm adding this score tape to the pocket so that, or not score tape, red line tape to the pocket so that I can add not the vellum. Words are so hard. The rickrack down to the pocket so that I can add that same little pizzazz and flair, and it will tie into the other side of this little pocket spread. And surprisingly today, the red line tape was behaving. I was able to peel it up really easily, of course, now that I have the other stuff. But I also do this cute little thing where I kind of like fold the rickrack over to go around the pocket instead of just cutting it. I did this little foldy thing that I think turned out really cute. And we're just moving right along. This turns out really fun. This side is less finished than the other side because there were some things I wanted to add that I wasn't sure about yet, so I didn't make those final decisions. But this is the general idea of the page. And then I'm like, oh, should we add a sparkly silver one that we didn't add before? Of course we should. So, you know, we're sparkly snowflaked out. One thing about those canvas strips also is you can see they like fray a little bit. So I just kind of pull the loose strings off and tape it down and hope for the best is what I've been doing. But I really do like that element that they added this year to the Ali Edwards collection. I think it's really cute. And it's like tiny word phrases, but they're canvas, so it's just like a little more fun, a little more special. And I've really loved using them. But we are getting close to the end here. And now the score tape is not behaving. So, you know, no one can be trusted. But I think it's because it's on the canvas. The red line tape is hard to use on the canvas as well. Probably could have put it onto the vellum instead of directly onto the word strip. But what I've been doing with the red line tape, which works better on red line tape than on the score tape, is using my little poker, what is that called? The hole punch thing? It's like a pointy little metal thing. And I poke the two, like the backing strip and the adhesive, I poke between the two of them and it helps me lift it up. But it's better with the red line tape because it's thicker. The score tape is pretty thin. So then I'm using my little VR Memory Keepers tweezers to put it in the right spot and sliding the little star clip on and scrunching things up. It's a whole thing. And I wanted to make sure I didn't cover up the words, so I scooched the star a little diagonally. But it turns out super cute, and I really like the way that this one came together. I just love the 3x8-ish size. This is actually more like 4x8, but I think it's really cute, and I love pockets. So, it's just a pocket party. I don't know why I'm doing that, like to test and see if the pocket works, but I'm definitely not going to keep that star vellum in there. And then I'm thinking like, oh gosh, what am I going to even put in this mini pocket? But maybe I'll make some sort of like a list on some skinny paper that I will keep in there. But I do like the way this brown craft, I like the way craft looks with white and light blue. So I found this little craft label and I just attach it to the back of the star clip because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm thinking I might include it. So I just stick it there for now, and I think that that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.